They say the world is full of distractions, but that's not true. The world is full of people who choose distraction over destiny. Every time you reach for your phone instead of your goals, you cast a vote for the version of yourself you said you didn't want to be. Every scroll is a silent agreement. I'd rather consume someone else's dreams than build my own, and that, right there, is why most people never break through. Because focus, real focus, isn't a productivity trick. It's war, a war against noise, mediocrity, and the thousand invisible forces pulling you toward average. You weren't built for average. You felt that. In the quiet moments, you've known it. In your gut. But knowing is nothing without choosing. And choosing means sacrifice. The world whispers. Balance. But greatness screams. Obsession. Show me a man who changed the world, and I'll show you a man who vanished from it for a while. He wasn't tweeting. He wasn't checking comments. He was building something so powerful that the world would have to notice. Later, focus is the portal. Through it, the impossible bends. Time slows. The world blurs. And your will becomes law. But it only happens when you stop trying to do everything and decide to own one thing completely. Walt Disney didn't chase trends. He chased a vision so vivid it dragged reality toward it. Thomas Edison wasn't multitasking. He locked in for thousands of hours, failing, refining, until the light bulb bowed to his will. Henry Ford didn't ask what was popular. He stared at a future only he could see, and focused on bending metal, systems, labor, and finance until the world moved on wheels. What are you focused on? And don't say success. That's too vague, too pretty, too fake. Clarity is power, and most people are broke, not in their wallets, but in their vision. You're not tired. You're scattered, split between 10 half goals and 1,000 dopamine hits. You become a slave to novelty. Every new idea pulling you off the mountain you were meant to climb. You don't need more ideas. You need execution. You don't need more plans. You need reps. You don't need more apps. You need discipline. Laser focus is not a mood. It's not motivation. It's a decision to close the door, turn off the noise, to sit your ass down and do the work, even when it's boring, painful, or invisible. Because most of the breakthrough happens when nothing is happening, when nobody claps, when nobody posts about it, when nobody cares. But if you care, if you keep showing up, you reach a point where the world bends, where opportunity notices consistency, where results start compounding so fast people think it's magic. It's not magic. It's math. Focus is an amplifier, but only when it's exclusive. You can't focus on winning and still seek comfort. You can't focus on rising and still fear judgment. You can't focus on becoming legendary while still acting available to every ping, post, or passing opinion. You must disconnect to become dangerous. You must step out of the crowd to hear your own voice again. You must tell the world, for the next 6 months, you don't exist, only my mission does. Let them laugh, let them doubt, let them go viral. You go silent, and then you build in silence. You bleed in silence. You evolve in silence, until one day, you don't have to talk anymore. Your results will speak so loudly, no one can ignore you. That's the power of unshakable focus. That's the secret to breaking through. Because the mind, when uncluttered, when aimed like a laser, becomes unstoppable. You were not born distracted. You were programmed that way. They gave you devices before they gave you dreams. They taught you to scroll before they taught you to sit still. They sold you the illusion of connection. Likes, hearts, swipes, while robbing you of the one connection that actually matters, the connection with your own vision. But vision is not inherited. It's built, brick by brick, in silence, in solitude, in fire. That fire starts the moment you decide, I will no longer rent my focus to the world's agenda. I will take it back. I will own it. Because without focus, even genius is wasted. Without focus, even the gifted fail. Without focus, you die with your potential still inside you, untouched, unlived, unspoken. Look around. Talent is everywhere. Discipline is rare. And that's why most people drown in mediocrity. Because they never decide to become dangerous, not to others, to their own excuses. Discipline is self, respect made visible. It's saying, I matter enough to keep my promises. To myself. It's waking up when no one is watching, studying when no one is testing, building when no one is clapping, because deep down, you already know what happens if you don't. You've met that version of yourself, the one who quits just before it gets good, the one who lets fear write the script, the one who trades progress for comfort again and again, and then wonders why nothing changes. That version has to die. There's no room for him here, not in this new chapter, not in this new mind. You don't need him. You need clarity, and clarity only comes when you stop negotiating with your potential. Decide, then cut the noise, then cut again. Delete the apps, kill the tabs, burn the bridges that lead back to distraction. This isn't a productivity hack. This is survival for your dream, your mission, your soul. Because every time you lose focus, you shrink, not in body, but in purpose. And when your purpose shrinks, so does your power. Think of the greats. Lincoln, laser, focused through depression and war. Jobs, obsessing over fonts and function until perfection bowed. Kobe, first in the gym, last to leave, every day for 2 decades. They were not normal, and neither are you. You felt it, in that restless pull, in the quiet voice that keeps saying, you were made for more. But more doesn't come to the passive. More doesn't reward the distracted. More comes to the disciplined, to the ones who earn their clarity through repetition, through blood, through fire. You want to break through? Then forget motivation. Forget inspiration. Build a routine so ruthless that even on your worst days, you still move forward, because progress isn't about how you feel. It's about what you finish. And finished work speaks louder than any speech. Results silence doubt. Consistency murders resistance. And a focused man becomes a force of nature. So wake up early, work in silence. Refuse to explain yourself. Let your life become the argument. Let your actions become the sermon. No more apologizing for your ambition. No more dimming your light to fit in. No more waiting for permission. This is your life. This is your time. And the clock doesn't stop for the distracted. You were never fighting the world. You were fighting the war within. The whispers of doubt, the quiet pull of the old you. The version that settles. The version that waits. The version that says, maybe next time. But here's the truth most can't face. There is no next time. Every delay costs you something. Not just time, but identity. Every day you put off your vision. That vision puts off becoming real. You say you're waiting for clarity, but clarity doesn't come from waiting. It comes from moving, from choosing, from getting knocked down, getting back up, and learning while bleeding. You build belief the same way you build muscle, under pressure. It grows every time you act, especially when it's hard. And the harder it gets, the more truth you uncover. Because pressure is a mirror. It shows you who you really are. It was pressure that made Carnegie study people until influence bent to his will. Pressure that made Edison keep going after 1,000 failures. Because the world needed light. Pressure that shaped Oprah, that sharpened Tyson, that forged Mandela. Greatness is not born. It is distilled, and the distillation happens under fire. You want success? Then get used to discomfort. Get used to isolation. Get used to people not understanding your obsession, because they weren't called to what you were called to. They weren't given your fire, your lens, your assignment, and they won't see what you see until you make it impossible to ignore. That's the power of action. Relentless, boring, unsexy action. The kind that doesn't make headlines, but makes results. The kind that rewrites your brain, because each step tells your subconscious, I am the kind of person who finishes, and the subconscious listens. You see, your mind is always recording, not your goals, your habits. It believes not what you say, but what you do. You skip a day, your mind says, this must not matter. You show up anyway, your mind says, this must be who we are. And slowly, without even realizing it, you become dangerous, not because you're loud, but because you're consistent, not because you talk about big plans, but because you outlast the storm. When others flinch, you stand. When others scroll, you build. When others party, you prepare, and one day they'll call it overnight success. But you'll know the truth, that it was built in the mornings no one saw, in the discipline no one praised, in the pain no one clapped for, because this is the price, the toll you pay to escape. Average. And the only ones who cross that line are the ones who decide no more compromise. So let them laugh, let them doubt, let them misunderstand. You don't need them. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. You need one thing, that relentless inner standard that says, I will rise or I will bleed, but I will not stay the same, because comfort is the enemy and pain is the currency. And every scar you earn is just proof you didn't quit. And here's what they never told you. You don't become unstoppable all at once. You become unstoppable by refusing to stop over and over and over again. The world doesn't hand crowns to those who wish. It gives them to the ones who bleed for it, the ones who fight silently in the shadows, who make no excuses, who burn the bridge back and say, I will win, or I will die trying. You can't half commit to greatness. You can't dip your toe into transformation. You either jump or you stay the same. And if you're still waiting for permission, let this be it. This is your time, not when the money's right, not when people finally believe in you, not when you're no longer scared. Now, while your heart's still pounding, while you still remember what it feels like to want more, while you still have something left in you, because if you wait for perfect timing, you'll die waiting. If you wait to feel ready, you'll never move. The winners don't act because of confidence. They act their way into confidence. They understand the door to freedom is locked from the inside, and the key is brutal self-honesty. So stop pretending you're confused. Stop acting like you don't know the next step. You do know. You've known for a long time. You just haven't had the courage to demand it from yourself. But today, right now, you can choose. You can declare the old version of you officially dead. The lazy version, the scared version, the distracted version. You can kill the excuse, bury the fear, burn the bridge, and stand in the fire of your true potential. This isn't about motivation anymore. This is war. A war between the life you have and the life that's waiting behind your decisions. Every habit is a weapon. Every repetition is a bullet. Every hour you commit is one more inch claimed in enemy territory. You don't need more advice. You need discipline. You need that savage voice inside you to get louder than your fears. The one that says, no one's coming, so I'm coming for myself. No more delays. I am the rescue plan. No more sleepwalking. I am awake now. And if you really want to change your life, then stop waiting for the right moment and become the right person. Decide that from this day forward, everything changes. Not because the world shifts, but because you do. You'll wake up earlier. You'll train when no one's watching. You'll build in silence. You'll move with purpose. You'll focus until you break through. And when they ask you one day how you did it, you'll smile, because you'll remember it wasn't a secret. It wasn't a hack. It was a decision, a line you drew, a promise you kept. So if you hear nothing else today, hear this. You are not broken. You are becoming. And if you can hold the vision long enough to outlast your past, if you can silence the noise long enough to hear your truth, if you can suffer long enough to earn the right to rise, then there is nothing in this world that can stop you, because the world doesn't belong to the gifted. It belongs to the driven. And the most dangerous force on earth is a focused mind on fire.